Hello guys, so today we will talk about the NBA's top 10 player under 25 coming from the Bleacher Report from NBA. So let's start. At number 10, we have Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown would rank higher if he weren't the oldest player in the field. With his 25th birthday coming on October 24, he slides under the must start the season as 24-year-old, cut up by less than a week. That said, the reason we usually devalue older prospects is because they theoretically have less room to improve their games, a trend that might not apply to Brown. The shifty and explosive wing became much more of a self-sufficient creator last season, which is basically the final step in the transformation from role player to star. No surprise, he earned his first All-Star nod and significantly narrowed the gap between himself and resident alpha Jayson Tatum in the Boston Celtics pecking order. Ninth on our list is Morant. The shooting is a problem. Point guards who aren't reliable threats from 3 simply can't impact an offense the same way as those that can. So even if Morant is as ferocious an athlete as there is in the NBA, and even if he already has the competitiveness, vision, and leadership aspects of the lead guard position locked down, it's impossible to overlook his career 31.7% accuracy rate from deep. Morant averaged a very respectable 19.1 points, 7.4 assists, and 4 rebounds in his sophomore season, leading the Memphis Grizzlies to a playoff berth. Even with those feats on his resume, Morant's high placement here is still based more on his potential than what he's done to this point. He's a year and a half younger than Fox, and like his Sacramento counterpart, all he needs to become a superstar is a three-point shot. 8th on our list is LaMelo Ball of the Charlotte Hornets. No one in this list have played fewer career games than LaMelo Ball, and the 20-year-old only started 31 of the 51 contests in which he appeared for the Charlotte Hornets last year. While some will surely clamor for him to be ranked much higher, that just doesn't seem responsible with a sample this small. At 6'6", Ball also has elite size for a pure point guard. Due partly to his length and partly to his nose for the ball, he is already among the very best rebounders at his position on both the offensive and defensive class. Add in his 95th percentile steal rate and 75th percentile block rate among point guards, and Ball's ability to contribute in several areas shine through all the clearer. Ball is in the rare position of not having to get any better to move up this list next year. All he has to do is prove those 51 games were for real by playing that well over a longer stretch. 7th on our list is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the OKC Thunder. A top 5 spot might only have been logically justifiable if the NBA awarded style point as statistics, tuck onto the actual point a player scored. In that scenario, SGA would have averaged about 50 per game last season. His liquid dribble, never sped up by the defense, and gifted with that rare and unsettling for the defender knack for operating at an untimable tempo, Gilgeous-Alexander led the league in drives per game last season, piling up average of 23.7 points, 5.9 assists, and 4.7 rebounds on a glowing 50.8 shooting split. Had he sustained those numbers for more than 35 games, he logged last season and perhaps produced them on a non-tanking team, Gilgeous-Alexander would have deserved some fringe All-NBA consideration. There are better, more established players in this list. Most of the ones still to come have lengthier track records of star-level production and team success. Very few are as fun to watch as SGA. 6th on our list is Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker has a case to be ranked at least one spot higher, but with his 25th birthday less than 2 weeks into the upcoming season, it's fair to hold his relatively advanced age against him. Booker's 9,395 total points through his age 24 season are the 7th highest total in league history, but it's his growth in other areas that tell the real tale. An improved defender, Booker is no longer listed on the opposing scouting report as a liability. In fact, the same physical strength that creates separation for his patented in-between pull-up game is now paying dividends on D. He is difficult to dislodge near the basket and can subtly manhandle matchups on the perimeter. That he's become more willing to move his feet and compete consistently on defense makes all the difference. Add in genuine passing acumen and Booker, once a one-way scorer, is now essentially weakness-free. 5th on our list is Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat. Though a bit on the older side at 24, this is as low as we can possibly rank a player who's already been the defensive anchor and a key facilitator on a finals team. An all-defensive second-teamer 2 years running and an all-star in 2020. Adebayo offers just about everything you could ask for in a modern center. If you had to pick a nit, it'd be that Adebayo isn't an elite rim protector, but that may just be a part of the bargain with a center who's quick enough to shuttle all over the floor and spends plenty of time checking guards and wings away from the basket. With 2020-21 average of 18.7 points, 9 rebounds, and 5.4 assists, plus more win shares than any other sub-25 player, Adebayo established himself as a genuine star with a strong likelihood of improving on that status. He's a two-way difference maker and an integral piece on a big-time winner, a rarity for players young enough to make this list. Fourth on our list is Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Pelicans. We've never seen a player with Zion Williamson's combination of bulk and athleticism, which make it difficult to know how he'll age and what kind of player he might someday become. It's easy to forecast an early peak, a short prime, and a quick decline when you think about the sheer strain his size puts on his joint. A torn meniscus that produced a 24-game rookie season didn't exactly push those worries aside, particularly with a handful of previous health issues hitting in both high school and college. What if he becomes a reliable outside shooter? What's his future as a defender look like? How long will it take for him to prove he can lead a winner? Williamson is one of one. His risks are unique, as are his skills and production. That confounding package of uncertainty still lands the 21-year-old very high on this list. There's a roughly equal chance that he belongs as high as second or as low as 10th, depending on whether you put more stock in his offensive production or his health and non-scoring shortcomings. Top 3 on our list is Trey Young of the Atlanta Hawks. At 22, Trey Young was the central figure in an Atlanta Hawks team that took the eventual champion, Milwaukee Bucks, to 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. Playoff success isn't always a factor in these rankings, but when the player in question is so clearly the driver of what makes his team a postseason threat, it has to be. The single most valuable commodity in the NBA is offensive shot creation, and Young did that more effectively for the Hawks last season than almost anyone else in the NBA. He added 12.7 points per 100 possessions to their offensive rating when on the floor, a figure bettered only by Stephen Curry among lead guards. A threat to heave from the logo at any time, a top 5 passer in the league, and already one of the most diabolical foul drawers around. Young heads into his 4th NBA season with career average of 24.1 points and 8.9 assists. Booker may have advanced around deeper last year and is also the more impactful defender, but Young is an offensive unto himself, like few other players of any age in the NBA. Second on our list is Jayson Tatum of the Boston Celtics. With 4 NBA seasons logged, Jayson Tatum is one of the old heads on this list, but he's still just 23, which makes his achievement to this point all the more impressive. Tatum is the only player on this list, the man at number 1 excluded, with an all-star NBA nod, and he's also distinguished by his role in a remarkably consistent high level of team success. The Boston Celtics forward is laps ahead of the sub-25 field with 50 career playoff games, and it's not like Tatum was a bit player in any of them. A starter in every game of his career, regular season and playoffs, Tatum owns career postseason average of 21.6 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. He has reached conference finals twice, and 2021 was the first season his Celtics failed to advance past the first round. With ideal positional size and length, Tatum is perhaps the most complete player on this list. His teams consistently perform better on both ends with him in the game. He's a high-usage scoring threat who doesn't sacrifice efficiency, and he's a weapon on D, whether on or off the ball. Maybe a few players ranked lower have marginally higher ceilings, but all of them have less experience than Tatum and would be lucky to snip the level of reliable postseason success he's achieved. Top 1 on our list is none other than Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic and Oscar Robertson, who benefited from the comically up-tempo early 60s, are the only players to average at least 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists over their first 3 seasons in the NBA. You've got to go back a long way to find someone who was this good this young in NBA history. The Dallas Mavericks superstar is also the only player in this list with multiple All-NBA nods, not to mention a pair of top 6 finishes in MVP voting. That he entered 2020-21 his age 21 season as the beating favorite to win the league's highest individual honor and finish a disappointing 6th says everything about Doncic's stature among his sub-25 peers. Actually, peers, more like subordinates. Doncic's total offensive mastery, his field vision, and control of every possession are unmatched by virtually everyone in the NBA. Once you could have pointed to his three-point shooting as a relative weakness, but he hit 35% overall from deep last season, and an even more impressive 35.6% on pull-up threes. Guys in his age bracket aren't even in the same conversation. None of them piloted what was at the time the most efficient offense in league history as 20 years old. To pick the player most likely to collect multiple MVP trophies over the next 5 years, you'd be a fool to go with anyone but Doncic, who'll probably win at least one before he ages himself off this list on 2024. So what do you think, guys? Do you agree that Luka Doncic is the top one under 25? Just comment down below and I'll read it. Thanks for watching.